All right, hey guys, welcome back to another tarot reading. For this video, I am going to be doing a pretty comprehensive look at our June 2021. So this is going to be my monthly forecast reading. 2021 has already been way better to us than 2020 has, and I am definitely looking to continue that energy. You know, it hasn't been easy, but compared to the absolute destructive energy of 2020, 2021's definitely been more of a building energy and more of a coming out of recovery kind of energy. So that's something I'm definitely looking to continue. So these piles are a little bit thicker boys than my last video. So that's why I've only done 3, because this is going to be a pretty in-depth look at the month ahead for you. Normally I would recommend picking, no more than 2. With this video, I'd really only recommend picking 1, just to make sure that the message doesn't get too muddled. Pick 2 if you really, really feel drawn, but I'd really just recommend only picking 1, because these are way more in depth than my last video. They may not look that big, but I picked a lot of slender cards, and trust me, they are they're gonna be much longer than my last reading was. So we have got our 3 piles here. The very first pile we've got is this rose quartz with just a little bit of citrine in it, just to add some spice. We've got a citrine for pile number 2. And then the last pile we have got is a lovely carnelian for pile number 3, a big old chunky carnelian. These are my chunky crystals. I love them very much. So take a moment, take a deep breath, kind of go with what your gut instinct says, the one that sort of stands out to you the most. Pick the one that's sort of like pulling you towards it the most and really sort of like standing out in your mind the most, and let's get started. All right, pile number 1, you guys chose the rose quartz. This is my nice raw rose quartz chunk. And this rose quartz is a little bit special because it does have a little bit of citrine right there in the front of it. So just if you weren't aware, just a little science FYI knowledge. A lot of different crystals like rose quartz, amethyst, citrine, fluorite, they are all technically quartz. They are just quartz with different kinds of impurities in them. So like different minerals are in here making it pink, or for the citrine, making the citrine orange and yellow. And so it's not uncommon sometimes to find a chunk, especially a raw chunk of something that has a little bit of something mixed in. So that's kind of the tea on that. So rose quartz is a stone of love, but specifically it is a stone of self-love. So rose quartz really encourages you to practice self-care, self-forgiveness, care a lot about yourself and take care of yourself and sort of be good to yourself. And also it's a stone of friendship as well, but I'm really kind of getting the sort of the self-love vibes here of just really forgiving with yourself, working with yourself, a little bit of confidence and just fun mixed in, which is awesome because summertime. Really, I'm just seeing taking care of yourself, spending time with yourself, showing yourself some love and some TLC. So that is sort of our crystal energy for this reading. So I'll put him up here. All right, so let us get started. We have got a bit of a way to go, but that is okay. So the first thing we're going to start with is we're going to start with your tarot cards. So this is my first time showing this deck. This is my Shadowscapes deck. All decks that I use will be linked in the description box down below. That way you can check them out. This deck was my very first ever deck. She is sort of the matriarch, the leader of all of my tarot decks, and she is absolutely wonderful. She's very fairy tale themed, and she and I have been working together for a really long time, and I actually love her a lot. So I'm excited to be using her for the first time. But your tarot cards are going to tell you sort of the general overall story of what's going to happen in June 2021. So this is a prediction. This is a forecast. Obviously, not everything might come true. Also, predictions and divination in general is a tricky thing. Sometimes it comes true, but not in the way that you expect. Sometimes it technically comes true, but farther on down the road than you expected. So just take what resonates, especially in things that are like predictions and that sort of thing. But this is going to tell you about your month ahead. So let us start with card number 1. We have got Page of Cups in reverse. So Page of Cups, this card very much speaks to going inward and going in to find yourself and to be aware of yourself and sort of seek your own inner knowledge. And in the reverse, it's definitely saying a lack of knowing your own inner self and a lack of seeking your own inner knowledge. And we've got 6 of Pentacles. That is a very positive card. The 6 of Pentacles, if you can see, there's a little gnome figure playing a flute and raining down coins on this tiny growing plant. And then the growing plant is actually, the roots of it are supporting the pedestal on which he sits. This card very much talks about money and wealth, especially, and specifically referencing like the rich giving to the poor. But the poor supporting the rich by the strength of their roots. Very much talks about a wealth cycle. And so this very much speaks to an outpouring and outshowering of some kind of abundance in your June 2021. That abundance doesn't necessarily have to be money. That abundance could be relationships or friendships or, just something of worth to you. But some sort of abundance energy is coming in your June 2021. So that is really exciting. So we got 70 of these cards. So we got a little bit to go through here. So we've got the Hanged Man. Okay, definitely. So the Hanged Man represents a change in perspective. The man has, it's referencing the story of when Odin hung himself from the tree and had his eye plucked out for knowledge. But it's the Hangman energy is very, it can be waiting energy, but I see specifically in this kind of instance of just a perspective change. You've seen the world one way and now your perspective is changing and evolving into something new and something you've never seen before. So that's really cool. And we've got the Magician in reverse. Okay, so the Magician speaks to, the Magician speaks of knowing what your own talents are and using your own talents to manifest the life you want and become the person you want. The Magician in reverse definitely speaks to me of doubting your own talents and being afraid of whether or not you have the ability to achieve what you are trying to accomplish. So there's definitely some like self-doubt creeping in there, which is interesting. And we've got the 6 of Cups. Okay, this is one of my favorite cards from this deck. I love this card a lot. The 6 of Cups is a child playing tea party with a bunch of fairies. And is she in danger? Maybe, but honestly, it's childhood. It's childhood memories and how the mind of a child doesn't have the idea of limitations in their head yet. They don't see limitations yet. They don't, they can't conceive of things being reasonable, or they don't have that sort of adult sense of being reasonable or responsible yet. They're very much still exploring the world and anything is possible. So that childlike energy, that's really good. This is definitely shaping up to be more of like an energy forecast, which I definitely don't mind. I think some of these will be predictions, but this is definitely, I think, an energy forecast of maybe how you are going to feel moving into and throughout your June 2021, which is not a bad thing. And so we've got the Emperor. All right, that's interesting. So let me just move my plant. Emperor energy is definitely one of discipline. Or here, I'll leave that here and we'll do a little shuffle. Emperor energy is self-discipline, it's confidence, it's power, it's just a lot of disciplinary energy. And it's interesting that that's coming up because Saturn is about to go into retrograde. It's actually just went into retrograde when I'm filming this. I'm in like late May. And so Saturn in retrograde is karma coming back around to either bite you or reward you for the stuff that you've been putting in. And I know, at least for myself, I've been putting in a lot of hard work this year. Some people, you may not have put in a lot of hard work. retrograde energy, the Saturn retrograde energy in particular, is going to very much be coming due what you're owed for all of the hard work you put into things. And so I definitely see that with the Emperor there, of a lot of confidence, a lot of power, which is interesting contrasting with the Magician. Confidence in the things you built and the power that you built, or alternatively discipline for the lack of building and the lack of discipline that's taken place throughout everything leading up to now, like the past year, really. So I definitely see the Emperor as being either a positive or a negative thing, depending on how you've lived your life up until now, and definitely tying into that Saturn retrograde, whether it be a positive or negative thing. And then the last card I've got here is Temperance. That's a beautiful card. So Temperance is balance. Temperance is, the Phoenix and the Dragon. Ice Dragon, Fire Phoenix, blending together. Balance, peace, relaxation, just flow, energetic flow. So this is already shaping up to actually be a really good month for you, pile number one, which is good. I was really hoping that, because we've been through enough stuff. And so I think maybe one pile here, I think may not have as good of a reading, but I think at least, especially for you guys, this is turning out really good. I see a lot of maybe struggling to face some of your own inner feelings about things, maybe having a hard time looking in depth into yourself this month. And I would definitely encourage you to try to take some time to do that, if at all possible. I know that it's really hard. You might have gone through a lot of stuff the past few months, and it might be really difficult to sort of convince yourself to sit down and isolate yourself a little bit and have some hermit energy and take the time to really parse through your feelings and your emotions. But I think it would 100% be worth it. I think that it would help maybe with some of the other issues in here, like the lack of confidence, with the Magician, lack of confidence. I think that by exploring some of your own feelings, you can maybe get some confidence back and some of your abilities. I definitely see with the Magician, I see a struggle to manifest, having a hard time manifesting and having a hard time believing that your manifestations will come true. So I would definitely recommend spending some time with yourself on that. But don't overthink it too much, because with the Hangman energy, your perspective's going to be changing and shifting, and let that happen. Like, allow that change to happen in yourself. Basically, I'm seeing you need the Temperance card here. I think you need a little bit of balance this month. I think you need to spend some time with some introspection, but I think you also need to spend some time having life happen to you. And I don't think that life happening to you is going to be a bad thing this month. That Six of Pentacles right there, boy howdy, that is some money coming your way. That is some money, some wealth, maybe some new friends. Yeah, I could see that abundance being friends. I could see it being maybe romantic relationship. I could see it being wealth. I could see it being, new financial opportunities, or like a new home, or like new furniture, or like new house decorations, just something related to that abundance. And that's really exciting. And I also just really see a lot of reconnecting to things that used to make you excited as a child. So things that, childhood passions you might have had that you have lost, just reconnecting to that childhood energy in a really positive way. And that's sort of a really exciting thing too as well. So that, I think, is sort of a really good energy forecast for what is coming up for you in the month of June. So that is really, really exciting. That's all some good stuff. So we're going to pull another card now to see sort of what the overall just sort of general theme of the month is going to be, before we start getting into some more specifics about what's going on. So the overall theme of the month is going to be the Magician. Okay, so that's super, super interesting, because we've got the Magician in the reverse, but we've also got the Magician in, this card is the Magician upright. And so what that really says to me is, I think this month is going to be all about reclaiming your magician energy, reclaiming your confidence in yourself and your confidence in your ability to do the things that you want to do and manifest the things that you want to do, and in your own talents and abilities. And I really see that with, honestly, a lot of these cards that are laid out here. I think you're going to be given a lot of gifts and blessings in the month of June to give you an opportunity to really get back into that magician energy and really regain that confidence in yourself and in your ability to sort of impact the world around you and make the stuff happen that you want to happen. So that is super exciting. I think that's sort of the overall theme of the month of June for you. So now we're going to get into a little bit of some of your oracle cards. So the first set of cards I've got, this is my, it's the Enchanted Map Oracle deck. These cards are going to talk a little bit about how the story of the month of June sort of fits into the overall story of your 2021 in general. So sort of how what's happening now is going to impact the overall story of who you are becoming and what you're going through in 2021. So the first card we've got is Peaks of Joy in reverse. Ooh, well, that's kind of interesting. Peaks of Joy in reverse. We've got Encouragement in reverse. And we've got Coming to Life in reverse. Those are interesting choices. Okay, so I consulted the guidebook just a little bit because I was a little confused with these all in reverse when the rest of this is so positive. And basically what this is trying to talk about is some just sort of perspective. So the first card, the Peaks of Joy, it being in reversed means the guidebook is talking about how you may or may not rely too heavily on personal achievements and your own accomplishments and material things, and basically you rely too much on yourself and outward expressions of your success in order to bring you joy. And it's encouraging you to find joy in the everyday things of life, that you don't have to work hard and overachieve and have material abundance in order to be joyful about the things in your life, that there are other things in life that bring joy besides pushing yourself for success and pushing yourself for achievement. This card really talks about the Encouragement in reverse, talks about how you may have fallen on some hard times in the past year and you're really having a hard time coming out of that. And between this card and the Coming to Life card in reverse, basically both of them are saying to let go and let spirit take care of it. That, you need to sit back and relax and let spirit work things in their own divine timing. Good things are coming to you, but and you may feel really despondent over some of the things that you have been through, but spirit is really encouraging you to sit back and relax, trust in the fact that spirit knows what it's doing, that the universe is bringing your gifts and your abundance and all of that joy in divine timing, and to not let yourself get discouraged and to find joy in things in life that are beyond just pushing to achieve what you want to achieve. You may be dealing with a situation where you feel stuck and you feel like, you're having a hard time getting through it. And maybe there's something in your life that's an obstacle that's blocking you. And Spirit's definitely recommending that you take the time to let spirit clear that blockage from your life, because you don't have to bulldoze that blockage yourself. Spirit's going to remove it, but you need to let things fall out in sort of its divine timing. So sort of the big message of this is sit back, relax, enjoy yourself, let yourself take a breather, and let spirit really take the reins this month. And really this year in particular, I feel like is a big sort of message in this, is really sitting back and letting spirit take the reins and trying not to control everything so much yourself and letting life happen to you, which I know is really hard if you've been through really tough things, because you don't want to, because you're afraid that you're going to get hurt again because you've been hurt before and you're afraid that you're going to get hurt again. And I completely understand that one. But really sit back and let spirit take you on this ride, because it's really only got good things planned for you. Even things that might end up kind of spicy and not necessarily fun. They're for a purpose and they're for a reason, and they're very much happening for you and not to you. And really honestly, you don't have to, I'm feeling that you don't have to worry about that spiciness though. You don't have to worry about spiciness. A lot of the spiciness is gone. Anything left is sort of just a little bit left over. It's the last of the spiciness wafting out before it's all over. Good things are really coming your way at this point, and you need to sit back and relax and let spirit take care of them. And so I've got the astrological cards here to talk about sort of the general astrological themes, and probably building off some of this as well. I'm just talking more about like themes and advice and the energy at play here. We've got mutable. Yep. So surrender, fluidity, and welcoming change. So definitely that real letting go that I was talking about, that surrender, that releasing control and letting spirit take the reins, being mutable and flowing. We've got house 12. Okay, that like the synchronicity of that is incredible. So house 12 is, in the astrological houses, is the house of spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. And it is right under that Emperor card, where I was talking about the whole karma coming back to you with the Saturn retrograde. It's right underneath there. So it's definitely that, those karma coming back to you. And honestly, I don't know if it's for all of you, but I feel like for the majority of you that pulled this pull, I think that the karma coming back to you is going to be good karma. I don't think it's going to be bad karma. I think if there is any bad, I think it'll just be a little bit of spice just to teach you a little bit of a lesson, and then kind of go back from there. Because I just really feel like good stuff is coming back around in this kind of instance. And that's just that's a really good thing. And then we've got house 5, passion, play, children, confidence, and creativity. So definitely leading back to the children energy, definitely leading back to the magician card. Just, you're going to get a chance to be childlike and passionate, rediscover those passionate energies, and just really, the big message I'm kind of getting here is just let go of worry. Just let go of worry, and let go of fear, and let go of being afraid that things are not going to go well, because they're going to go better than you think they will. And a lot of the pain that you've been through, it's over at this point, and you're going to get a chance to have fun and be childlike and just really enjoy yourself. And really the only thing stopping you at this point is your own fears, and not that that's a thing that you should be angry at yourself for. We've got that self-love. You shouldn't be angry at yourself for it. Just let yourself relax and be happy. And I really think it's going to be like a good thing. So that's some sort of the energy on that. So we are going to get into our last bit of cards here. I told you this is going to be a much bigger pull than the last one. So we have got 5 cards here from the Mystic Mondays deck. The Mystic Mondays deck is my power deck. It is the deck I pull whenever I need to take my own power back. And when I need to regain my own power in the situation. So these cards are here to talk to you about what you need to do to regain power and take some of your own power back. And just become more powerful in this situation, which I feel like is actually really good, because especially with that confidence issue with the magician, I feel like some advice on that is definitely needed. So we've got the World. She ain't settled today. We've got the World. So the World is basically everything you've ever wanted. You're about to receive everything you've ever wanted. Ace of Cups. So extremely positive emotional energy here. Maybe some new love, some new romance, just really good relationships and energy, and relationship energy all around. We have got the Queen of Swords in reverse. So Queen of Swords is a lot of thinking and a lot of air energy and a lot of like mental stuff. And I think with the cups, I think it's saying think less, boo. Not in a mean way, not telling you to like, don't think, but more think less, feel more, because that's going to get you where you need to go. Because maybe some of this like resistance and fear over whether or not you can manifest and whether or not you're able to do what you're looking to do is maybe a little bit of like overthinking and anxiety energy. We've got Ace of Pentacles. Y'all, you guys are gonna have a good month. I'm just saying, this is some good energy. Oh my goodness. Ace of Pentacles is financial opportunities, money, it's that kind of stuff. Financial opportunities, money, wealth, abundance, new opportunities to make money or have better finances. And then you've got the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is all about following tradition, but I would definitely, in this kind of an instance, with this kind of a pull that we've got going on, I would definitely say that the Hierophant here is do what you know you're supposed to. You've learned a lot of lessons through everything you've gone through, and at this point, follow that wisdom and do what you know you need to do, even if it's hard sometimes, even if it does make you anxious, or even if it's a bit of a struggle to do because it doesn't make a ton of logical sense. I would definitely recommend following what you know you need to do, because I think that would definitely be a really, really good thing. So, and so that's your power. That's how to take back your power this month. Think less, trust more, grow, be abundant, which I get can be hard if you've been through a lot, but just saying, it looks like it's not going to be as hard as it sounds. And then, so we're gonna pull one more card before your last message from the universe. And this is going to be your spirit animal card. So this is from the Illustrated Bestiary. These cards are very small, so I had to hold it up so you can see. But this is going to be a spirit animal for you this month. Just a little bit of advice. So, blue damselfly, commune with nature. So this is definitely recommending that you go outside more. Go spend more time outside. It's going to help you de-stress. It's going to help you welcome in that abundance energy. It's going to help you feel better. Just get that sunshine. It's summer. Go swimming. There's water in the card. Go swimming. You know, spend time by the pool. Spend time outdoors. Get some fresh air in. You need it. I mean, we've all been locked up because of the pandemic. Spend some time outside. You know, restrictions are starting to lift a little bit more. So go spend some time at the park. Spend some time outside. Just spend some time by yourself. Just really like get that good natural energy flowing in, because I feel like it's going to help you heal and grow and feel stronger. So that's a good thing. And so the very final card we got is this message from the universe. Just a little bit of encouragement. So, before this odyssey ever began, there was you, your best friends, and wide-eyed curiosity among you about who would be the first to leap, the first to forget, the first to kiss, the first to tell, the first to fall, the first to get back up, and the first to remember that it all began with a dare, to love in spite of it all. The universe. P.S. I remember the glint in your eyes, all three of them. Love in spite of it all. So yeah, I definitely feel with this, there's a lot of fear. And it's interesting with that, with this message, I very much get again that childlike vibes, that returning to your childhood, returning to friendship, returning to the things that made you passionate when you were a child. And I definitely feel with this, just take care of yourself this month. Really good stuff is about to start happening, and you're a little bit twitchy and afraid. And I know, because I have been too. And just take care of yourself and love yourself, because you're going to get to grow so much this month, and you're going to get to have so many positive, happy things happen to you this month. And I really think that it's all going to start by loving and taking care of yourself. So, pile number 1, that was your reading. I hope it helped. And I hope it gave you some more advice and foresight on stuff going on. And I will see you next time. All right, hello pile number 2. Welcome to your June 2021 tarot reading. You guys picked citrine. So citrine as a crystal, citrine is known for promoting confidence and optimism, for really speaking your mind and having a lot of fun. It's well known for working with the solar plexus chakra for obvious reasons, for this lovely yellow color here. And it just really promotes being super confident and brave and bold and just displaying who you are and experiencing your passions. So that is sort of your crystal energy going into June 2021. That is an excellent crystal energy for the first month of summer. So gotta love that. So we're gonna get started by looking at sort of the tarot cards for your month ahead. So this is my Shadowscapes deck. I'm excited to be using her for the first time. All of the tarot decks that I used are linked in the description box down below. So if you need to go check them out, they are there. Whoops, that needs to be over here for now. But yeah, feel free to go check them out. I have them all linked so you can take a look at them. But my Shadowscapes deck is really the first deck that I ever got. She's my very first tarot deck, and I love her dearly. She and I have been through a lot together, and I am honestly the most confident when reading with her, so I'm really excited to be using her today. So there are a lot of cards in this pile, so let's get to it because it's kind of an in-depth reading. So these tarot cards are going to first talk about the overall energy or like forecast of what's going to be coming in your June 2021. So the first card we've got the Three of Cups in reverse. Okay. So Three of Cups generally represents like friendship and celebration. So having it in reverse, I'm kind of getting that maybe you've had not that much celebratory energy the past few months. And I totally understand that. You know, June 2020, or not June, just 2021 in general has been a much better year than 2020 was, but it's still hasn't been easy, and there's still been a lot of really rough things going on, and it kind of has felt, at least to me, it's felt kind of like an uphill battle in a lot of ways. And so I can definitely see maybe that you have not been as celebratory going into June 2021 as you might have liked to be. We've got the Six of Swords. Yeah, you just haven't felt safe. Yeah, the Six of Swords has the swan carrying someone on their back over the battlefield. Maybe you've just been in the thick of it a little bit. Things have been rough. You've been hashing it out. It's just been kind of hard. You'd hoped things were going to go better, but they really haven't seemed to. We've got Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups definitely talks about delving deep into your emotions. It talks about really getting in there and a lot of celebratory joy energy, but a lot of just like really discovering your passions and kind of what makes your feelings tick. So we've got that. We've got the reverse Wheel of Fortune. Okay, this is kind of, hold on, this is a little all over the place. Let me like look at what's going on and kind of see if I can see what's going on a little bit. So we've got reverse Wheel of Fortune. We've got Three of Wands. Okay, that is interesting. We've got Three of Wands. We've got the reverse of Death. We've got Seven of Swords. Hold on. I think Death reverse is supposed to be upright. And then we've got Seven of Swords. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. This is more complicated than I expected. So we've got a lack of celebration, definitely dealing with struggling with being in the fray of things, being in the thick of things, definitely fighting your way out of a situation. We've got the Nine of Cups, which means you've really been identifying with yourself more, and you've been discovering your passions more, and you really have been like looking inward more and feeling out your emotions and those feelings and finding how you feel about the situation, what makes you tick. We've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, which kind of tends to speak of negative turns of fate. Not necessarily that negative turns of fate like it's going to ruin your life, but typically Wheel of Fortune upright means that your fortune's going to be turning in a positive way, whereas in the reverse means either some negative fate is coming your way. Hello, plane. Numen. I live next to an airport. Like a small airport, but I live next to an airport. Either that the Wheel of Fortune is turning in negative ways, or alternatively, I'm actually seeing more that the fate is not moving for you. You are in a situation, maybe that like fighting, like negative energy situation. You've been trying to move, you've been trying to get out, but you've been hoping that fate's going to kind of like a turn of events will carry you out, or things will take you out of that situation. I'm definitely kind of seeing with this Three of Wands here. Three of Wands speaks to being confident and trailblazing. So really taking a leap of faith, stepping off that ledge there and hoping that something's going to catch you as you step. Really taking a leap and taking an adventure and trailblazing into the unknown. So I'm seeing that maybe that fate is not moving for you the way that you would have hoped it would, and you're kind of in this stagnant energy where the wheel isn't turning and you feel stuck, and you feel like if you keep staying here, you're going to have to keep dealing with that negative situation and those negative feelings. So I'm definitely seeing some huge encouragement to trailblaze, take a leap, take a step. If you have maybe been in a negative relationship that you've been trying to fix, or you've been trying to work out, or like a negative living situation, just leave. Just pack up, leave, go. Not, be smart about it. Don't do anything dumb. But if it's a relationship that you've been trying to work on, but it hasn't been going right, but if you're in a relationship that hasn't been going well and you've been trying to see if you can't hash it out, if you're at a job and the job is just really not working out for you, and there's been a lot of tensions and a lot of struggle and a lot of stress, this is definitely encouraging you to take that step, go job hunt, go find a new relationship, go find a new living situation. Just step out into the unknown, because if you stay here, you're going to kind of always stay here. You're going to be stuck in this stagnant energy. Fortune's not going to move for you. You're just going to end up having the same situation cycle over and over again. So I'm saying it's kind of up to you to take that first step. I'm also seeing a lot of transformation as well with the Death card. The Death card is all about, I don't know if you have experience with tarot. The Death card is not a card that means you're going to die or negative situations are going to happen. The Death card instead talks about transformation, a shedding of the old to go to something new. As referenced by the phoenix, the fact that the phoenix dies to rise again as a new phoenix. So that's definitely huge energy here of you need to step out of your situation, allow those transformations to happen, kind of become a new person. Because if you don't, you're not really going to go anywhere. You're going to be stuck in the same situations. So you do definitely need to work on taking those steps to get out. The Seven of Swords is interesting. I kind of see this as just a little side warning. Seven of Swords represents someone like deceitfulness and dishonesty. So maybe there is someone in your life who is lying to you, or someone who is looking at you from the corner of their eye and they want you to fail. Maybe they're jealous of you. Maybe they just hate you as a person. There's someone definitely out to kind of ruin your reputation or your situation. And I'm feeling it might be connected to whatever that negative energy is here. There's maybe someone there that maybe it's a parent, or maybe it's a relationship, or maybe it's someone at your workplace or someone in your creative field that's kind of looking to take you out a little bit. Just be careful. Be careful what information you share. Be careful who you talk to and the relationships you have, because there's definitely some like negative, deceitful energy going on there. So that's a thing to just keep in mind. So now we're going to use my white Numen deck to take a look and see what your overall theme for the month is going to be. So the overall like theme, if you had to encapsulate everything that's going to happen in the month in one theme, what would that be? So we have got the Fool. So the Fool talks about starting a new adventure and starting out on a new path and taking a new journey and jumping off the edge of that cliff, becoming a new person, just starting over. So very much that Three of Wands energy, that death energy. Take that leap, man. And even though it looks like she's alone, she's out in the desert, she's not alone. She's got all of her spiritual guides around her, those dogs, those coyotes, and they are there to help her along her path. So even though, and to protect her as well. So even though, you know, she's starting out by herself, she's not really alone. And I definitely am getting that strong message of, even if you're having to start out on a new path and a new journey by yourself alone, you are not alone. You have got a whole team behind you, backing you up. And Spirit definitely has plans for where you're going, and it's definitely going to be an adventure once you decide to take that first step. So we're going to move into your oracle cards. So this is the Enchanted Map Oracle, and this is going to be talking about how your June 2021 is going to fit in a little more to the overall story of your life that's happening throughout 2020 as a whole, or 2021 as a whole. So like the whole year, how June will fit into the picture of the whole year. So we've got Solitude in reverse. All right. And we've got Heal the Ouch in reverse. Okay. And then we've got Strength in reverse. All righty. Okay, give me just a second. I'm going to go look at those specific messages and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. Got a little bit more of the specific messages on these cards. So the Solitude in reverse definitely is speaking to what I was talking about. It's leading out of that Fool energy of how she has her spirit guides around her. Just because you're setting out on this journey doesn't mean you're alone, and you should really work hard on not being alone. There are people out there in your life that matter to you and are important to you and do care about you. And I'm also just definitely hearing that you've got those spirit guides. Those spirit guides are really there to help you and to take care of you and to assist you in this situation. And I really am kind of feeling this strong calling from Spirit to start connecting to those guides. Start connecting to those ancestors, or if you work with particular deities, I don't personally, but like if you work with deities, or if you work with a type of spirit, maybe nature spirits or that sort of thing, go ahead, or just your guides, your ancestor, or like your soul guides in particular, if you're talking about like the concept of like reincarnation and soul guides sent from the universe and from Spirit, start connecting to those guides and those higher powers, because you need someone with you even if you are taking this journey alone. And they are definitely there, and they are definitely reaching out to you, and they have a ton of guidance and a ton of assistance to offer. And even if you don't know where to go from here, even if you know you need to go, but you don't know how, start asking those guides, start listening to those guides, start either listen to them intuitively or ask them for signs, or heck, do tarot pulls. This is not a shameless plug for me to telling you to watch more of my readings. This is more me saying do tarot pulls for yourself if you have tarot cards. Watch other pick a cards people besides just me. Watch pick a cards. Look at them on Instagram. Just really see if you can't get guidance on where to go from here, because they want to talk to you. They've been wanting to talk to you for a while. And like, I see a lot of guides there. So don't get in and get too overwhelmed. Maybe take it one step at a time. But definitely your guides are trying to give you advice and trying to tell you where you should go from here, like practical advice. And so you should definitely start looking for that. The second card we've got here is Heal the Ouch in reverse. And so it talks about being a healer, and it talks about like working through stuff with other people and helping other people heal their hurts. But this in reverse, it's specifically asking you, is there anyone in your life that you've wronged that you need to apologize to? Is there anyone that, as you've been working through what you've been working through and going through what you've been going through, is there any relationships that you need to mend, or things that, unresolved issues that you need to work through, people you need to talk to about something, or kind of like, work through how you feel and acknowledge maybe where you could have hurt them. Definitely a huge portion to fixing relationships that have been hurting is definitely to acknowledge where you could have been wrong in the situation and try to get a really good perspective on maybe what's going on with you. So that's one of the big messages of Heal the Ouch. The other one is healing yourself. Forgiving yourself. If there's things that you've been through that have been really tough and you really have blamed yourself, or you've struggled and you've pinned the blame all on yourself, work on forgiving yourself and work on coming to rights and to balance within yourself, trusting yourself, giving yourself a little bit of self-love. I think that's really needed in this instance, because I know I blame myself all the time for things, and I'm really trying to work on being my own best friend and realizing that I didn't do those things to hurt myself, and just kind of coming, like, it was to try to protect myself, and just coming more into alignment with your inner self. And the last card is Strength in reverse. And Strength is in reverse is tough, but also interesting. It's definitely, you're having to take a huge leap of faith and start doing new things that you've never done before. And that's terrifying and really hard. And you may not feel like you're capable of it. You may not feel like you have the energy to, or you know where to go, or what to do. And Spirit's definitely encouraging you that Spirit's going to help you. Spirit is going to give you the strength to keep going. It is okay if you don't feel strong enough or you don't feel like you can do it, because that's kind of the point. This isn't about you charging ahead with full power and confidence in like a very aggressive way. This is about you kind of relaxing, jumping off the cliff and enjoying the ride that Spirit has for you, walking hand in hand with those guides and really like learning as you go, because you don't have to be perfect at something the first time. You can absolutely take your time and figure it out. And that's the whole point of starting that beginner's journey. So now we're moving on to your astrology cards. So this is going to talk about sort of the overall energies that will be present in the month of June 2021. So we have got House 9, spiritual growth. Also travel, which definitely lines up with that new adventure type feeling. I'm just really getting, you're about to go on a new adventure, and that's scary, but the more that you can see it as an adventure, the better. So we've got spiritual growth and travel and adventure. We've got Gemini, curiosity, intellect, and networking. So I am actually filming this video during Gemini season. I'm actually filming this portion actually on the the retrograde, or not the retrograde, I apologize, the eclipse, the full moon eclipse in Sagittarius. Gemini is definitely talking energy. It's communication with other people. It's learning. It's I hear a lot of like the gift of talking, or the gift of gab, of just talking it out, feeling your way through, thinking about things, like figuring stuff out, learning new information and knowledge, just really exploring all of your options and just really being in communication with other people. That's like huge energy with that. And then we've got Scorpio, intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing. So I'm definitely seeing a lot of lining up with the journey, a lot of talking to your guides, and then a lot of, with that heal the ouch, a lot of going through and exposing some of the shadows inside of yourself, whether it's something you need to heal in yourself or something you need to heal in relationships with others. Definitely going in and sort of exposing some of the things that are holding you back right now. Because there's always going to be things holding you back when a scary situation like this happens. And so kind of working through those fears and bringing them to the surface and figuring them out. That way you can keep taking those steps forward. So that's really good. So we're moving on to my Mystic Mondays deck. So my Mystic Mondays deck is actually the deck that I consult when I'm looking to take back my personal power. So these cards are going to talk to you about ways to maintain your power during the month of June 2021, or obtain new power for the first time. Work on leaving that situation and leaving that stagnant energy behind, that stagnant Wheel of Fortune energy, and stepping forward into your own power. So first we've got the Seven of Cups. Okay, so the Seven of Cups has a couple different interpretations in reverse. So the Seven of Cups in particular talks about having too many options. You have so many different choices. You have so many different like things to choose from. Each cup has something interesting and new in it, and kind of struggling to choose. Maybe with the reverse, it's telling you either to focus or that you don't have a lot of options, or maybe you don't feel like you have a lot of options right now. And there not being a lot of options presented to you, and maybe you're worried that if you get started on trying to find your way out of the situation and take these steps forward, that you won't have enough options. Maybe that's one of your fears. We've got 6 of Cups. Okay, we've got 6 of Cups. We've got 7 of Pentacles. Oh my goodness, we got 10 of Swords. And then we've got Justice. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna be right back. All right, so I looked at the specific messages for these cards, and you know how Scorpio, the Scorpio card was talking to you about exposing, purging, and renewing some of that darkness inside of you? Well, these cards are telling you what you need to look at. So, which, you know, I love my Mystic Mondays boy. He oftentimes delivers some hard lessons, but that is his job and we all love him for it. So the 7 of Cups definitely talks about, I would say honestly in this instance, maybe a restricted viewpoint, thinking you don't have any options, that you don't have choices, that you don't have enough choices and steps to take. Maybe you feel trapped by the situation that you're in and you don't feel like there is a way out, or there's choices or there's decisions to make, when in actuality there may be choices and decisions to make. So that's that energy. The 6 of Cups talks about your childhood and like nostalgic childhood memories, but when it's in reverse, it's specifically talking about childhood trauma. And it's interesting that that's lining up with that heal the hurt, or a heal the ouch card right there. You got some stuff from your childhood to work through. It can also talk about rose-colored glasses too, that maybe you have a tendency to be too optimistic. Maybe you have a tendency to see the situation through rose-colored glasses and go, no, it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be all right. When in reality, there's really some stuff you need to address, but like, you're having a hard time getting yourself to admit it. So definitely some childhood wounds to work through that are holding you back from making this journey. We've got 7 of Pentacles in reverse. So 7 of Pentacles upright talks about tending your like fields and like really seeing results out of all the hard work you put in. 7 of Pentacles in reverse definitely means that maybe you have already tried to leave this situation, or maybe you've been in the process of trying and you've just been putting in the work and in the hours and you've just been slaving away, and there has been no response. There's been no outcome. There's been no return on all of that hard work you put in. And I definitely kind of am getting this, this vibe, this download or message from Spirit of don't farm in sandy soil, because unless you're planting palm trees, nothing's going to grow there. And that is some real tea of don't put your efforts into something that is not going to give you a return. It is useless to spend hours slaving away at something that is actually not going to give you any return. So definitely reprioritizing where you're putting your time and your effort. Hello, other plane. Reprioritizing your time and your effort, reprioritizing what you are putting your attention towards and the things that you are really like putting your efforts into, and making sure that whatever you do put out energy and effort, it's actually going to a place that it's going to get a result. We've got 10 of Swords in reverse. That kind of tends to speak to a tendency to have a bit of a victim mentality of you can't leave and woe is you, and like you're stuck in this situation and you can't get out and there's nothing you can do about it. And the situation is probably really hard. It kind of feels like you've been struggling with this situation for a long time, and that stagnant wheel energy really does suck. But there are always things you can do about it, and your guides are just, I feel like your guides are just right there waiting to tell you what it is you need to do, and definitely just maybe overcoming a little bit of that victim mentality and a little bit of that I can't do it, I don't feel like I can make it out of this situation. And then the last card we've got here is this Justice card. So Justice is definitely, it's a similar vibe to the Judgment card. It is all about weighing your options, weighing yourself, weighing the situation, seeing what needs to go and what needs to stay. And I definitely think that that's kind of the energy of you working through some of these issues, of you need to go through and see what is serving you and what is not serving you anymore, and what you need to let go of and what you need to hold yourself accountable for. in a loving way. I'm not saying doing this in a way to beat yourself up, because you should not be beating yourself up. You should be forgiving yourself. You're not doing any of this because you want to. It's because you're hurting. It's because everything is awful and everything sucked and you felt stuck for so long. But definitely working through that and deciding what needs to stay and what needs to go in order to be able to move on from the situation. So our last couple oracle cards that we'll do before we close with our final message from the universe is from the Bestiary, Illustrated Bestiary deck, and it'll have a couple spirit animals, and they're kind of small cards, so I'll hold them up. So the first one is the Black Bear, Sync with the Cycles. This is kind of an interesting card. As I was talking about going out on this journey and letting spirit carry you on this journey, I'm really kind of picking up here that you need to start learning how to move with spirit and move with the cycles that the universe goes through. There are full moons and there are new moons. There are releasing and there is growing. There's waning and there's waxing. There's spring and then summer and then fall and then winter. And each section of the year and each time of the year and time of those cycles have different purposes and different things to flow with. And I'm definitely getting the message that you need to learn to start flowing. You need to pick up on the flow of the universe, the flow of nature, your own personal flow yourself, and start finding ways to flow. Because the funny thing about water is there can be a million obstacles that fire or earth can't get around, but water can flow around those blocks and those obstacles and flow through the bars of a gate blocking your way. Water finds the path of least resistance. And I'm definitely seeing that you need to start learning to find that path of least resistance and follow the thing that makes you flow. Because a lot of those blockages that you feel like you're stuck behind will very much kind of give under that flow, or you'll find a way to work around them. And then we have got Discover the Pattern. Broadwing Katie did. Okay, so this one's really interesting because I'm definitely feeling that with all of these childhood traumas and everything, working through your childhood traumas can be hard, and working through your own behavior can be hard, especially whenever you're having a hard time. The thing that's tricky about mental health issues is half the time you don't even know you're doing it. And I think along with the Sync with the Cycles, I think that this is a really interesting card to think about, of discover the pattern. Watch the pattern of your own behavior. What triggers you? What makes you behave a certain way every single time? What causes your brain to blank out? Or what causes you to get excited or angry or anxious? What patterns keep repeating over and over and over again in your life? Maybe I know one that I have for myself personally is whenever I'm 2 seconds from making a very big movement in my life and making a big step forward, one of my family members attempts to contact me. They will call me or text me or leave me a voicemail, and I used to try to respond to those like later in their own time. I've definitely come to discover that it's really important in those moments for me to take that as the acknowledgement that it is that I'm on the right path and just don't answer and move on. So find those patterns, because in those patterns you'll be able to discover the underlying truth of what's going on. So that's very good advice to kind of take forward into the future. And then lastly, we have got our message from the universe. So, do you know what you've created? No, besides an intergalactically known saunter named after you. Inspiration in the eyes that have watched you, hope in the minds that have admired you, and love in the hearts that have known you. But you might want to ease up on your sachet before someone gets hurt. Not bad, kiddo. Not bad at all. The universe. Enjoy the extraordinary uniqueness. And that definitely ties back to the citrine of this confidence. You're gonna need a lot of confidence and belief in yourself in order to move into this new phase of your life. But in no uncertain terms has this poll definitely told you that you are awesome and you have a lot of amazing things to offer other people. And the more that you begin to embrace that, the better things are going to go. And there is so much fun and just adventure waiting for you in June and in the rest of the year. And you definitely walk out that door. It's the, oh goodness, what's the Lord of the Rings quote of, He used to tell me, Sam, don't walk out that door because you never know where the road may take you. I think that's the paraphrase quote from Lord of the Rings of don't walk out that front door. It's a dangerous thing walking out your front door. You never know where the road is going to take you. So that was your reading, pile number 2. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading for the month of June 2021. So you guys picked the carnelian. I don't know if you can see it, but this one actually has this beautiful fissure inside of it that sparkles when the light hits it just right. I don't know how much you can pick up on. Hold on, actually, this is worth showing. I don't know if you can see that, but it's absolutely beautiful. So it has got this gorgeous fissure inside of it that definitely looks like a mouth and not anything else but a mouth. So carnelians as a stone, the sort of general energy for a carnelian is it represents power, and it's definitely a stone known for working with both the root chakra and the sacral chakra. So sort of power, it's sexuality, it's can be femininity, but also can be masculine energy too. It very much talks about working with that sacral chakra and the ideas of power and pleasure, and also it can help you work through a lot of trauma as well. If you're having trouble standing up for yourself, or if you have a lot of intimacy traumas, that's definitely something that can help you work on that. So that's sort of the energy going into your month of June 2021, that crystal energy. So we will put him up here. He's my chunky boy. Okay, so this is a bit of a bigger reading. So we've got a lot of cards here, but that is not a bad thing. So we are going to start out with my Shadowscapes deck. I'm really excited to be using her for the first time in a tarot video. She is the first deck that I ever got. All the decks that I do use will be linked in the description box down below. So that way, if you want to check them out, they're down there. But she's my first deck. She's kind of the matriarch of the group. And so she is amazing. And I have used her for a long time and I love her very much. So this will sort of start talking about the general overall story of how your month of June 2021 is going to happen. Some predictions, some forecasting. It could be event forecasting. It also could be energy forecasting. The important thing to remember with divination is kind of interesting sometimes. All fortune telling comes true eventually, but it may not come true in the way that you expected or in the timing that you expected. So definitely with any of these, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So let's get started with your first card here. Got the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords definitely represents logic, intelligence, air energy, thinking, logicking your way through things. The Queen of Swords also very much... Hello, plane. Hello, plane. Sorry. And the Queen of Swords very much talks about working through a lot of your traumas, and integrating a lot of the traumatic experiences that you've been through. So that's kind of already seeing a little bit of a trauma theme going on here. So that's interesting. I got the Devil in reverse. Well, that's not a bad thing. So the Devil card, the Devil speaks of mental health struggles, being chained up, mental health struggles, and really feeling trapped in a situation that you may not actually be trapped in. It might kind of be your own mind that's trapping you. And so the Devil card very much talks about that. But with it being in reverse, I definitely kind of see that you guys are maybe spending your June 2021 working through those traumas, working through those mental health issues, sort of breaking a lot of those mental chains that have been put on you by other people, and realizing that maybe your thought processes are not what you thought they were, and maybe they are wrong, and maybe things are different than you've perceived so far. Not that any of that is your fault, because it's not. Mental health problems are never your fault. But you're starting to break some of those negative thought patterns and negative thought cycles. So we've got the Ace of Cups. So I do see some struggling going on emotionally, some difficulty with emotional energy, kind of emotional blockage. Maybe you're spending so much time mentally working through what's going on that maybe you're having a little bit of trouble addressing the feelings aspect, which is okay. That's not, you know, your fault, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. Got the Hermit. Okay, so I definitely see June 2021 definitely being a time where you are retreating from your friendships, from your family, and maybe not in a bad way, but just retreating back a little bit and spending some time by yourself and really working through some stuff. Really working through isolating yourself and working through some trauma that you've been through. Careful not to isolate yourself too much, but this isn't a bad thing, I don't think. And we've got the Reverse of Strength. Okay, so you're struggling a little bit, aren't you? Yeah, you're having a little bit of a hard time. This feels like a very successful time, but it also feels like a very tough time. It feels like in June you're definitely going to see some results for the hard work you put in, but it's also not going to be easy. So I definitely feel that coming out just a little bit. And let's keep going here once I get everything in alignment. We've got Page of Swords. So defending yourself, taking care of yourself, learning how to work through these issues for the first time. You may never have worked through your own trauma before. You may have only just become aware that it's a thing at all, and you're really trying to do some research and like find out how to work through trauma. Maybe you're going and seeing a therapist for the first time. Maybe you're looking into therapy resources. But you're definitely learning, but you're protecting yourself. The Page of Swords is holding a little swan signet against your chest. So definitely taking care of that inner child inside of you that's seen a lot of stuff. The last card's the High Priestess. Yeah. In reverse. The High Priestess in reverse. I'm definitely seeing that this month might be a little tough for you guys. And that definitely sucks to hear. And I'm sorry about that. And I don't think that it's going to be tough and of that I think that your life is going to fall apart. I think it's just tough in the fact that it looks like you're working through a lot of stuff. This is definitely like retreating and working through your own mental health energy. And I think definitely that, it's not going to be easy on you. I think that it will be very rewarding and I think you will be very successful. This definitely seems like you're definitely going to succeed, but High Priestess in reverse speaks of a lack of confidence. For every positive, we've got a negative. So it seems to be pretty evenly balanced. 2021 is definitely a building energy. It's still not a super blissful energy astrologically. It's more of a 2020 was about leveling the ground so that we can start over. And then 2021 is very much about building back up from where we've been destroyed. And 2022 is going to be the golden years, astrologically, like probably some of the best astrology we may see in our lifetime. And so that's amazing. But this definitely feels like you're definitely having to do some harsh rebuilding. And it's not going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be successful. But you may not start seeing some of that success till more the end of the month. And there's some things that you're still going to struggle with and are still going to be really hard to overcome and hard to deal with. But you're definitely, I feel like you're on the right track. This is a good place to begin. Like, you're doing your very best. Like, I definitely don't get that you're not working hard here, because you are. I get you working really, really hard on yourself this month. You're doing a great job. But there's still definitely stuff that you're going to have difficulty overcoming. And that might be a little bit of a struggle for you. So we're going to pull a couple more cards to get sort of the overall theme of this month, the sort of general like theming of what's going on. You were special. You did get 2 cards. The other groups got 1. So now I see why. We've got 5 of Wands. Right. Okay. 5 of Wands. And then we've got 8 of Wands. Definitely. So 5 of Wands in this particular card speaks to a trial that she's about to undergo. Her friends around her, her initiates, she's in an initiation trial. And she is about to fight all of them in order to earn her place or earn her right as a member of their group. And then Eight of Wands is very chaotic energy, very tangled up, messy, difficult to parse through energy. So I definitely see you having to sort of fight an uphill battle in this month. I don't see it being unsuccessful. I just definitely see you fighting an uphill battle, and things are going to be messy and complicated. But I mean, if you're starting to work on your mental health for the first time, that's going to be messy and complicated. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be something that's just going to go easy as pot, like just like riding along. No, like that's not what's going to happen. If you really have been through a lot of stuff and you start to work on it for the first time, that can be really hard and that can be really messy. But definitely don't give up, because she's confident. She's confident and she's gonna earn her way into her situation. And I definitely feel like you're gonna make big strides towards success. I think it's just definitely not gonna be easy for you this month. So we're gonna pull a couple cards from my Enchanted Map Oracle cards. These are gonna tell you a little bit about how the month of June 2021 is gonna fit into sort of your overall story for the month, or for the year at large. So all of 2021, how June fits into everything else. So first card we've got here is Spark. Okay. And then the second card we have got is Metamorphosis. And then your third card is Compass in Reverse. Interesting. Okay, I consulted the guidebook a little bit. So Spark, something triggered this in you. There is something that really got your attention, really made you do a deep dive into these mental health struggles that you have. Maybe it was a situation, maybe it was a person, maybe it was something positive of, hey, you suddenly realized maybe I need to work on myself. Like you really decided you really want to get everything together. Like 2021 is the year that you want to get your life together. Or maybe it was something negative of a situation that you just can't handle anymore, a person you can't handle anymore, a relationship you can't handle anymore, but something just really lit a fire under you. And that is why you are charging ahead with working on yourself like this, and definitely feel that fire energy in these two cards. And you're going to go through a metamorphosis this month. And when I was reading the guidebook, it was talking about how change is painful, and like going through a true transformation is really hard because it means a part of you has to die in order for you to be reborn. And that is really tough. And that can be really difficult and it can suck. But it's important because that part of you wouldn't die if it didn't need to. And it's not that there's anything wrong with you, but clearly you've been through some terrible things. You've built up some scar tissue in your brain. I mean, that's what mental health problems are. There's scar tissue inside your brain. They're old looping patterns that your brain can't overcome because of everything it's been through. And so you need to be able to let some parts of yourself die and slough off and release some of those things. And so that metamorphosis might take a little bit of a toll on you, just because change is hard. And you may feel lost this month with this compass in reverse. You may not know where to go. You know you're changing, you know you're transforming, you know something needs to change and something needs to happen, but you don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're aiming for or who you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to achieve. And I think definitely if I have to like intuit some things, I feel like this whole having trouble dealing with your emotions might be a huge part of it. Emotions is where intuition comes from. And so you might be struggling this month to feel out where you're supposed to go from here. And I'm definitely kind of getting the message that it's okay if that's a struggle for you this month. It's okay if that's hard for you this month. And if you are having trouble finding where you're supposed to go, you're going to figure it out in July. But it's okay to feel lost. It's okay to feel out in the open and not really know where you're going and not really know, what you're supposed to be aiming towards. Just keep moving and keep evolving and keep going through that change, because as you go through it and as you become more of who you really are, that true north will start to appear for you. and that vision of who you're supposed to be will start to appear for you, and listening, and that using intuition to listen to spirit and listen to where spirit wants you to go, that will definitely start appearing for you. So be patient. It may not, fully come into fruition this month, but by next month, you really should start getting your feet under you a little bit more. So that's kind of what I'm getting on with that. So we're going to move on to the astrological cards for this month. This will tell maybe a little bit of advice, give sort of a forecast of the energy going on this month, sort of the energies moving around here in this month. So Jupiter, grow and expand. So that definitely fits into that metamorphosis, that change, that becoming a new person. Definitely let yourself grow and expand, even if you grow and expand into places that you are uncomfortable with, or you become someone, or you start feeling yourself becoming someone that you may not like necessarily, or may never be who you thought you were supposed to be or who you wanted to be. Let that growth and that change happen, because you're never going to grow or change into something that's truly bad for you. Like, that's the reality. You're never truly going to become something, as long as you're doing the work, and as long as you're healing, and as long as you're, working on being, with integrity. You're never going to grow into someone that you truly can't get along with, or you truly hate. But a big part of working on mental health is your shadow side. And I really think that you're going to have to grow into your shadow side a little bit this month, and really tap into some of those aspects of yourself that maybe you don't like, and let those grow and evolve, because maybe they've been suppressed for so long that it's been a little hard for them to really grow and change as you've grown and changed. We've got House 6. So establishing a foundation, health, daily life, and practical details. So this is routines. This is kind of recreating yourself from the ground. I really feel like recreating yourself from the ground up here. Reestablishing who you are, what you do in life every day, completely changing your routine, completely changing where you go and what you do and who you spend your time with. Because as you work on that mental health, you're going to need to. It's going to change, and your priorities are going to change, and they're going to shift. And then finally, we've got House 1. Individuality, self-image, and approach to life. So yeah, you definitely are going to go through some really big changes this month. Some major changes on how you view yourself and who you feel like you really are. And that's not a bad thing. Just let yourself go through that change. Because whenever you suffer from mental illness, when you suffer from mental illness, or you've been through trauma, or you've been through some really traumatic things, you may not actually know who you really are, especially if it happened from a young age, if it happened from childhood. There may be aspects of yourself that you can't see right now, or aspects of your personality or your passions that you really don't know, because those mental health issues have suppressed them and made them difficult for you to actually truly see and understand. And so I definitely recommend letting yourself go through this change this month. You're definitely going to spend a lot of time transforming this month, and transforming your self-image and your own view of yourself, and your own opinion of yourself, and who you see yourself as. And that is not a bad thing. Just let it happen, even if it's hard, because you really need to know who you are before you can move forward in your life, and before you can grow. And so I definitely see that that's what's going to happen in June for you guys. So we're going to get a few more cards. So we've got some power cards here. So my Mystic Mondays deck, this is the Mystic Mondays deck, and this is the deck I pull whenever I need to find a way to reclaim my own power, and reclaim my own power. And you're going to be doing a lot of reclaiming power this month. And so this is definitely going to give you some advice on that. So the first card we've got is the 9 of Pentacles, and we have got the 4 of Wands. We've got 7 of Swords. We've got 3 of Swords. Ooh, definitely working through some of that trauma there. And then we've got the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so we've definitely got some really good advice here on, this is actually, I think, some topics to work through as you're working through your mental health issues and situation. And so first off, we start with some good, just like self-care advice of treat yourself, this month. You know, you're going to be going through a lot of hard stuff this month, and in doing that hermiting and retreating inward this month, treat yourself. Get yourself some extra ice cream. Give yourself some extra self-care. Be gentle on yourself, because this month is going to be hard on you. So take care of yourself and really reward yourself for all the hard work you're going to be putting in. Take breaks, take breathers. Go do some retail therapy, go do some shopping, go, you know, get yourself the ice cream that you want, or get yourself that like fast food that you deserve. Just do something to treat yourself, and start rebuilding a stable foundation for yourself. You know, I'm getting very big clean your room kind of vibes, but don't just clean your room. Rearrange your room into something that feels homey and cozy, because you're gonna be spending a lot of time there working on all this mental health stuff. So make sure that your home is a place that's cozy for you, and a place that's comfortable and a safe space for you to work through what you're going through. Maybe redecorate, get some fairy lights, get some softer pillows, or buy a couple extra super soft blankies. Just bundle yourself up in some blankets sometimes, because I'm feeling with the rest of these are topics to work through kind of. I feel like that difficulty in feeling your emotions from this month is definitely coming from the fact that you have got a bunch of pain going on. These are very painful cards. The Seven of Swords speaks of deceit and trickery, and this could be someone who's deceived you or tricked you, but I also see it as your own mind, because trust me, I have bad anxiety. I have a lot of mental health issues. Your own mind can deceive you and trick you, not because it hates you or doesn't love you, but it's because of that moon up there, the fears. It's afraid of things, and it's trying to defend you and trying to protect you. But in doing so, it actually ends up hurting you in the long run. And so trying to work through that own deceit of, you know, what is really true? What has your brain been telling you that isn't true about your life? What do you need to rethink from a different angle and a different viewpoint? And Three of Swords is just heartbreak. Three of Swords is just heartbreak and betrayal. Somebody has cut you open. You are just heartbroken. And Five of Pentacles is abandonment, loss, little match girl kind of vibes. Just someone has left you out in the cold. You have been abandoned. You have been mistreated. You just have been through so much. And this is so much pain here, and so much fear, and so much loss. So no wonder you're having a hard time working through your feelings. It's because all your feelings do is hurt. But it is important to work through these things, and it is important to work through these feelings and to acknowledge where you've been betrayed, acknowledge where you've been hurt, acknowledge what's been done to you, and work through the grief of that. Because once you are able to uncover that grief and that sorrow, you can drain it out of you. You can drain that pain and that sorrow and that grief out of you, and you can find who you really are underneath all that. Because the real you's been hiding underneath all of that black lake of pain, and by draining it out and working through it, you can really just rediscover who you are, and really work on who you're becoming, and becoming a new person, and going through a huge transformation to make your life better and to get yourself to a better place. So the last few cards we're going to do before we wrap up with a final message. We've got some spirit animal cards. These are from the Illustrated Bestiary. You've got 3 because you're pile number 3. So this will kind of give you some advice and some vibes moving forward for this month. So we've got the Whooper Swan, love fiercely. So we've got the Whooper Swan. We've got work together with the house mouse. Definitely some relationship vibes going on here, so that's really interesting. And then we've got stand up for yourself, the spotted skunk. So that's really interesting. This is definitely, because I can see this out of the corner of my eye and see what's going on. So I'll go through it real quick. So when it comes to choosing who will be in your life, I recommend valuing their yeehaw quality above all others. Have it your way. Special orders don't upset us, the universe. And just yeehaw. So I think what these are talking about very clearly, mental health problems come from somewhere, whether they're from experiences that you've gone through, traumatic experiences, whether it's parents that didn't treat you well, relatives that didn't treat you well, teachers that didn't treat you well, friends, lovers, relationships that didn't treat you well. You don't naturally spring health problems up by yourself. Something has to trigger them. in order for you to get there. And so I definitely am seeing an interesting theme with all of this, talking about the people you have in your life. The Swooper Swan card in particular, that Love Fiercely card, talks about, are you willing to change for the ones you love? The House Mouse is working together to achieve huge things in a small amount of time with people that you care about. And then Spotted Skunk is standing up for yourself. And this is talking about selecting people in your life that give you joy, basically. And so I definitely am seeing in this last little bit before we close, a major theme of picking and choosing who you want to have in your life. There are people in your life that bring you great love and great joy, and there are people in your life that hurt you. And I think that this is definitely encouraging you to, even as you isolate yourself and work through your own mental health and emotions, spend some time with the people that care about you, because whether it's, you know, like I mentioned earlier, maybe a therapist helping you work through your issues, or maybe a loved one or a relationship helping you through your issues, they'll be able to assist you more than you might realize through everything that you're processing. Sitting down and having, you know, coffee with them and being honest with them about how you feel and what you're going through, that can go a long way. They could have observations that you might not have never thought of. They can give you support and love and help pamper you, like, through everything, and stand up to the people who aren't supposed to be in your life right now. Stand up for yourself and start pushing back and removing those people who aren't in your best interest. Choose the ones that give you that, yes, like that brings you that joy, that you really feel good being around, and then remove the ones that don't, because they're doing nothing but making these mental health problems worse, frankly. And right now it's really time for you to prioritize yourself and choose yourself. So I definitely am seeing that working through everything, you know, with other people that you love, and then removing the people that you don't, because I think that that's really important for you working through all of this. So, whew, pile number 3, that was your reading. You have a bit of a tough month ahead, but it's gonna be worth it, and you're gonna make it, even though sometimes you may not feel like it. And I think it's going to be a really good month and a really important month for you. And I think that there's going to be huge results coming out the other side. And I definitely vibe with that. The carnelian giving you that grounding and working through those issues, but also the sensuality and treating yourself, I think will be really important this month, to just take care of yourself and give yourself love, even as you're processing through everything. So, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that it has given you some good stuff to think about, and I will see you next time.